Hello, group. Welcome to Extract Corner. I'm your host, Richard May. Today, the Grateful Dudes. 25-12-12 Fiddlers Elbow. Somewhere in England. Grateful Dead tribute. The band, full time, is a Grateful Dead tribute. You got a couple bands in your neck of the woods doing Grateful Dead tributes, don't you? I got a number in Cleveland. I'll talk about that in a second. But let's not get distracted before I finish talking about the Grateful Dudes. Because that's what's the promise. I promised a review of this fine recording by the Grateful Dudes barely a month ago. This was recorded barely a month old. Yeah, those numbers mean December 12th, 2025. I'm going to put this up on January 18th, 2026, a month and 6 days later. The Grateful Dudes, I guess it's part of, one, the tradition of the Grateful Dead of, here, record it, trade it. We don't care. Share the music. And so the Grateful Dudes, and I'm sure many other Grateful Dead tribute bands, put out a bunch of their shows onto the internet. There's a number of Grateful Dudes recordings out, I've noticed. Also, the Grateful Shred. And, they put something out of whatever show they just did and put it out there. As well they should, I guess. If you're a Grateful Dead tribute band and you're playing Grateful Dead songs, basically. If not exclusively. And this show is great. One flaw. The first track has some static on the first track. Hell in a Bucket. Some static. I thought it was my player, my end. But when I listened to it a second time, there it was again. So the first track, there's some static coming from somewhere. Don't know the origin, don't know the technicalities of it. But once you get past that, for the other 2 hours plus, whatever the length of this is, it's great. The mix is great. And the guitar player and the Grateful Dudes, damn, he's good. And it's a great gig. You Grateful Dead fans, I think you'll like it. I think you like it a lot. I mean, yeah, there's days worth, not hours worth, days worth, perhaps weeks worth, months worth of Grateful Dead music, gigs, and the studio you can listen to and not repeat anything. Yeah, the songs are repeated, but the specific performance, never repeated. You can just go through the entire career of the Grateful Dead, since everything's recorded somewhere, and never hear the same darn exact same thing twice. And then you get the tribute bands like the Grateful Dudes and others There's another band named the Grateful Dead Dudes in North Carolina, United States of America, with the same name. And they're gigging too in North Carolina. The Grateful Dudes, this one is England. This is an English group paying tribute to the dead. This is really good. I loved it. And the guitar, it's really good. And basically, you can listen to the Grateful Dudes for free on Bandcamp and also on YouTube. There's YouTube shares on this too. So you can listen to the Grateful Dudes for free or name your price on Bandcamp. Give them a nickel. They need money. Even hippies need money. And they give you a pretty nice cover. I like this cover. You know, in the tradition of the Grateful Dead. Wearing one of my 2 Grateful Dead shirts. So, to finish the review of the Grateful Dudes, I didn't take notes of what songs they were playing. You know, did they sneak in a song that wasn't quite a... I don't know. Sounds like a Grateful Dead to me. It was cool as hell. It's cool as hell. Present tense. And it throws you when they speak in a British accent between songs. That's different. So if you're in England or of Europe, if the Grateful Dudes are coming to your town, I say go see them. It's cooler than hell. Is that a fairly complete review? Go listen to some Grateful Dudes. You know, if for a 21st century mix, at least on this show, this mix is a killer. Fantastic mix. It's not a 20th century mix. It's a 21st century mix. It's cool. You know, and why should the music of the Grateful Dead go away? You know, there should be. Why shouldn't there be multiple bands in your city, state, nation, wherever you're at? Because I know I have a worldwide audience. You too, Japan. Why shouldn't there be multiple Grateful Dead tributes playing constantly? Not just the weekends. Any night of the week. Where's a Grateful Dead tribute concert? I want to see one tonight and have one nearby. You know, is this what the 21st century promises us? Grateful Dead any night of the week, live in person for that experience? We should have that experience anytime, anywhere in the, for now, free world. Status pending. And, okay, now I'm going to talk about, darn shame that Bob Weir died at the age of 78. Not from cancer, but as a result of he beat the cancer, but the body, the young issue, and he died from the fight with the cancer, not the cancer itself. Age of 78. And, you know, our OG rock and roll heroes are pushing 80. Much like our parents, seeing the big band people die at 80, generation or two ago. And so our rock heroes are passing away. And it's a darn shame. But the Grateful Dead built such a culture that there's a ton of people and a ton of musicians that want to do that, the jam band scene we have today, and just people doing Grateful Dead music, because there's so many songs they covered and did themselves, and why not? Heck, the Glenn Miller Orchestra is still out there. And it's been how many years since Glenn Miller disappeared in the plane? In 1944, actually, but we recognize his death in 45. So how many years is that? Don't let me do math right now. So, 80-some years? Is that what it is? Jeez. So, the Glenn Miller band, with that Glenn Miller, can still be on the road. Go ahead, guys. Go play Grateful Dead music. Many nights of the week you can get away with it. Go do it. Now, I'm going to admit I'm a little bit of a poser. I'm a newbie. Because I'm a hard rock guy. Action rock guy. It was only in recent years that I forget who I was with. Was it with Jason or my ex? And hey, let's go see Into the Blue, which is a darn good Northern Ohio Grateful Dead tribute act. And we saw them in a nice place. And that was when I started to get it. Because I didn't get it in my teens and 20s. You're going to give me something like this? This cover? This looks like a Slayer cover. Or some Doom. This, and it's a Grateful Dead. I got change for my 10 when I bought this used. The prior owner liked this record a lot, clearly. In the dashboard of his car or whatever, this was kept. Come on, skulls and... Okay, this makes more sense than the skulls. So, in the pandemic, I went back into collecting records. CDs, of course. Not records, but CDs. To keep my sanity. And I started to understand the Grateful Dead, and I started buying up Grateful Dead. So I got a fairly complete Grateful Dead collection, except for the Mars Hotel. I had that in college. Didn't get it. I like the one synthesizer effect, like a UFO landing. I love that from the Mars Hotel set. But that is not typical of a Grateful Dead song. So I had it in college. I got a cheap copy in college of the Mars Hotel set. And, I was like, I don't get it. Because I want to rock. Yes, the Grateful Dead rocks. It's not hard rock, despite certain imagery. But it's not folk music. It's got a basis in folk music, but it's quite electric. It's easygoing music, absolutely. But it's not quite that easygoing. It's totally unique music. There is nothing quite like the Grateful Dead. The Grateful Dead is a genre completely unto itself. It's not hard rock. It's not doom metal. It's not rock and roll. It is rock and roll, but it's not rock and roll, rockabilly. No. You know, I thought they should sound like Hawkwind. Shouldn't this sound like Hawkwind? You know, Hawkwind started up, just after the Dead. No. That's what I thought Grateful Dead should have sounded. It should have sounded like Hawkwind. Doesn't sound like Hawkwind. So Hawkwind is kind of in that vibe for space rock. But that's space rock. This isn't space rock. It's the Grateful Dead. Is it jam music? Well, Grateful Dead invented jam music. Because other than calling it the Grateful Dead, what do you call it? It's a jam band. But it's not a jam band like Frank Marino and Mahogany Rush or Hendrix or, psych music or, Deep Purple Made in Japan, which is what really turned my head on to hard rock music and the potential for hard rock music to really jam and improvise. Deep Purple Made in Japan live record. Yeah. That will open your ears and your mind right there if you haven't heard that. Grateful Dead, I had to get old. I had to get old. Not just middle-aged. I had to get old to understand the Grateful Dead. And the last 2+ hours I've been listening to the Grateful Dudes. Grateful Dudes, it's great. Okay, static on the first track, but after that, it's great. It's a great live recording. And, is it different than actual Grateful Dead? Maybe my memory's fuzzy because I haven't been listening to Grateful Dead lately, because I'm busy on your behalf looking for new stuff. But the guitar here for the Grateful Dudes is a little bit more prominent than I remember Grateful Dead live concerts with Garcia. Jerry there, his guitar. The lead guitar here is a little bit more prominent, I think. Am I wrong? Maybe. But the lead guitar here is very front and center for the Grateful Dudes. I love it. The guitar really brings it home for the Grateful Dudes, to my ears. We miss you, That'd be rare. Long live the Grateful Dead. And with all these tribute bands, they're not going anywhere. And for a new generation, go listen to some Grateful Dudes, the Grateful Dead, Grateful Shred, Into the Blue. There's all kinds of bands out there. There's days worth, weeks worth, months worth, maybe years worth of Grateful Dead recordings and tributes out there to take in and not have to repeat yourself. That's a wonderful thing. There's a lot of bands we wish we had that much material of. Only the Dead. Taking care of my fundamentals here. English band. There is a band in North Carolina. There's an English band. I guess they go to the continent and tour there at times, but largely, from what I see, they're largely in England. There's no ballads. How great is that? It's mellow. It grooves, but doesn't delve into outright ballad. Gotta live it for that. Political. For those of you that don't know your stuff, Grateful Dead was quaintly political. They were progressive. Yes, they were. Didn't shout it at every show, but they were friends with President Carter in the late 70s. The first time America got freaked out because they had a rock and roll president, Jimmy Carter. So Jimmy Carter became friends with a lot of the rock and roll stars of the time, including the Dead. Jimmy Carter was kind of liberal. We just lost Jimmy. Was he 100 or getting? He, as more than one person said, he was a great ex-president. If you like this video, give it a like. Subscribe to Action Rock Corner. We don't do Grateful Dead all the time. And Grateful Dead's cool, but we are a rock station. But the Grateful Dead does rock as much as the Grateful Dead rocks. If you know, you know. Ring the notification bell. And go listen. Remember, the point today was the Grateful Dudes at Fiddlers Elbow. Right. Last December 12th. Come back. Forgive the static on the first track. It will annoy you. But track 2 forward, oh yeah, it's only on Bandcamp. Okay, I don't see a thing for YouTube having this set. I don't know why not. You're giving it away, Grateful Dudes. Put the stuff on YouTube. We're a YouTube channel. Put it on YouTube. Put it all on YouTube. Would you please? Please. There is Grateful Dudes on YouTube Music as well. So, go any direction you want. But I'm reviewing specifically this gig. come back and you hear what I hear. Is that guitar a bit more forward than the Grateful Dead does? It's cool. I like it. Is the guitar a bit more forward than I remember Jerry Garcia being? It's cool regardless. And for latest in action rock, garage rock, punk, psychobilly, rockabilly, stoner, space rock, industrial sometimes. If it rocks, it's here on Action Rock Corner. And remember, fresh music is as important as fresh food. And have fun with your music. If you get past the static on the first track, it's a great mix. Thank you for watching. See you again soon.